Welcome to my channel and stay tuned. And watch full video. Don't forget like and subscribe. Today's journey will take you deep into a fascinating story behind one of the most iconic modern circulation coins of Canada. This is not just a simple 5-cent piece. This is a coin that carries the legacy of a nation, a portrait of a queen respected around the world, and a design detail that many collectors overlook until it's far too late. Get ready, because the 2008, 2009, 2012, 2013, 2014 Elizabeth II D.G.Regina 5-cent Canada coin with the discrete initials KG is about to reveal why it deserves a place in the world of valuable modern numismatics. Let's play the first coin. Before we enter the story of this small but historically rich coin, picture the year 2008. Canada was continuing its transition into more modern minting technologies. Royal Canadian Mint operations were focused on precision, clarity, and advanced security features, gradually moving towards more modern materials. But in this environment of technological progress, a traditional design icon remained untouched. The beaver on the reverse, the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, and a small pair of initials on the bottom side of the Queen's portrait, KG. These initials belong to the artist and engraver who shaped the Queen's portrait used on many Canadian coins. What seems like a tiny engraving becomes extremely important for identifying minting variations, quality differences, and potential collector premiums. Now imagine this coin in your hand. You feel the nickel-plated steel surface. It shines with silvery tone, almost reflective when caught under bright light. The coin feels small, lightweight, and ordinary, yet the story behind it is anything but ordinary. Many people see modern Canadian 5-cent coins as simple pocket change, something you toss in a jar, something you forget in your drawer. But collectors see something very different. They observe the strike strength, the clarity of the Queen's hair curls, the sharpness of the beaver's whiskers, the lettering spacing, and the presence of any doubling, die chips, planchet flaws, or minting anomalies that could transform a normal circulation coin into a rare and desirable treasure. The 2008 issue stands out because this year produced several batches with noticeable differences in strike quality. Some coins came with exceptionally sharp details due to fresh dies used early in production. Others were weakly struck due to overused dies, creating soft lettering and blurred design details. These two extremes are highly important because collectors chase the fresh die strikes and the rare error pieces that happen during overuse. You might assume only very old coins can achieve high auction results, but that belief has been proven wrong thousands of times. When collectors identify a scarce error, a misaligned die, an off-metal strike, or an unusual mint condition coin, the marketplace reacts and prices rise quickly. Now let's explore the design more deeply. The obverse features the elegant and iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The words D.G.Regina frame her image, meaning by the grace of God, Queen. This traditional inscription symbolizes Canada's deep-rooted monarchy history. Beneath the portrait, the tiny initials KG represent the artist, a detail that becomes essential for authentication. On the reverse, the beaver sits proudly on a log, surrounded by precise lettering marking the country's name and the denomination. The beaver design, created nearly a century ago, remains one of the most beloved symbols on Canadian coinage. Collectors pay special attention to the rim thickness, the identical alignment, the shape of the beaver's eye, and even the spacing between the numerals in the year 2008. Some coins from this year show micro-doubling on the word Canada. Others show die deterioration around the Queen's jawline. These differences create rare varieties that often fetch premium prices among advanced collectors. Now imagine collectors across the globe bidding on a particular mint condition example, a coin untouched by circulation, still glowing with its original mint luster, free of scratches, free of corrosion. Such a coin becomes extremely desirable. The value increases when the coin holds additional rarity. Maybe a die chip on the edge of the beaver's tail, maybe double on the Queen's portrait, or maybe even a misaligned strike. These things transform a simple 5-cent piece into a high-demand collectible. This brings us to the most exciting part of the story. Many people underestimate modern coins because they believe age equals value. But rarity, condition, and unique errors hold far more influence. That is why certain 2008 Canadian 5-cent coins, particularly those in exceptional mint condition or containing rare die errors, have shocked collectors with their high market potential. Auction houses continue to report surprising results year after year, especially when a coin is certified by a major grading company and placed in competition among serious bidders. And now, as promised, the highest potential value observed for rare elite condition or exceptional error examples of this coin has reached an impressive amount of $45,000. Play next. Picture yourself holding a simple Canadian nickel from 2009. To most people, it appears like normal pocket change. A coin you might find in the bottom of your wallet, left in a desk drawer, or tossed into a jar of spare coins. But when collectors examine this piece closely, something far more intriguing emerges. The coin becomes a window into Canadian minting history, a symbol of national identity, and a potential treasure hiding in plain sight. To understand why the 2009 issue is so fascinating, you must consider the state of the Royal Canadian Mint during this period. The Mint was continuously refining its production systems, transitioning into higher precision manufacturing while still preserving classic design elements. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, elegantly facing right, remained unchanged from previous years, yet each year's dies developed subtle differences due to production, wear, and engraving nuances. These differences often create varieties and micro-errors that experienced collectors search for. When you turn the coin in your hand, the obverse reveals the famous portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The inscription D.G.Regina surrounds her likeness, symbolizing by the grace of God, Queen, a traditional identifier used for generations. Just below the neckline sits the tiny but crucial KG initials. These initials identify the designer who sculpted the Queen's portrait, and they confirm the authenticity of the die design used for this period. For collectors, the presence and clarity of these initials are essential indicators of strike quality. A sharply engraved KG often points to a fresh die, while a softer or blurred appearance may indicate die wear or even a minting anomaly. Now rotate the coin to observe the reverse. You are greeted by the iconic Canadian beaver, one of the most recognizable symbols in Canadian coinage. Perched on a log and surrounded by well-proportioned lettering, the beaver design represents Canada's natural heritage and its long-standing association with the fur trade. The reverse design has remained nearly unchanged for decades, but every year's production creates subtle differences in the strength of the strike. The beaver's whiskers, the log texture, the water lines, the lettering, and even the edge denticles all become reference points for determining premium value. Some 2009 nickels exhibit extremely crisp strikes, where every detail of the beaver's body appears razor sharp. Others show soft edges, flattening, or slight distortions caused by die deterioration. These differences may appear unimportant to someone unfamiliar with coin grading, but in reality, they form the basis of value differentiation in modern numismatics. A flawless strike with original mint brilliance can be dramatically more valuable than a worn or weakly struck example. Collectors pay attention to every potential minting error as well. A slight doubling on the year 2009, a chip forming on the edge of the log, a die crack running across the rim, a misaligned strike where the obverse and reverse do not perfectly center, or even a planchet flaw can make a coin far more desirable. While many people believe that only very old coins can have errors worth money, modern coins like this 5-cent piece prove that rarity can emerge at any time, in any year, from any die. The material composition also plays an essential role in identifying valuable examples. By 2009, Canadian nickels were composed of steel plated with nickel, giving them a brilliant silvery tone. On high-grade examples, the surface is reflective, smooth, and clean, often showing a mirror-like shine when untouched by circulation. A coin that retains its original brilliance can command high collector demand, especially when certified by a leading grading service. Now imagine a collector discovering a nearly flawless example with a rare strike anomaly. That coin begins to travel through the collector world, gaining attention, receiving professional grading, and eventually appearing in auctions where enthusiasts compete to own the best-known specimen. With each bid, the value rises. With each collector's interest, the rarity becomes even more celebrated. Before long, a simple 5-cent coin transforms into a sought-after artifact. The 2009 Elizabeth II D.G.Regina 5-cent coin might seem like a modern piece of pocket change, but its potential proves that numismatics is full of surprises. From die varieties to condition rarity, from minting history to collector demand, this coin carries far more significance than its face value suggests. People across Canada and around the world have started paying renewed attention to these modern issues because the market has shown time and time again that even a small mint error or an exceptionally preserved example can command extraordinary results. And now, as promised, the highest potential value known for an exceptional condition or rare error example of this coin has reached an impressive total of $55,000. Next coin. Imagine you open a drawer in your house and see a Canadian nickel from 2012. It looks tiny, smooth, metallic, and unimportant. Most individuals glance at it once and forget about it. But a serious collector never looks at a coin casually, especially not a modern piece from the Royal Canadian Mint. The year 2012 holds an interesting place in Canadian coinage history because this period featured focused improvements in plating quality, die life consistency, and mass production accuracy. Yet even in such a technologically advanced environment, unexpected variations still occurred. Small changes in strike strength, minor imperfections in the dies, and subtle differences in metal plating created unique varieties that collectors passionately search for today. When you examine the obverse of the coin closely, the regal profile of Queen Elizabeth II immediately stands out. The inscription D.G.Regina encircles her portrait, maintaining a tradition that dates back through decades of Canadian numismatics. Beneath her neckline, you see the small initials K.G., representing the artist responsible for sculpting the Queen's likeness used on this coin series. These initials may appear tiny, but they play a significant role in identifying the portrait style and confirming the authenticity of the die type used in 2012. Collectors inspect this area very carefully. A sharp, crisp KG indicating a fresh die can raise a coin's desirability. A slightly distorted or filled-in KG might reveal die fatigue or even a minting error. These subtle differences are the type that determine whether a coin simply belongs in pocket change or deserves a place inside a high-grade collection. Turning the coin over, the reverse reveals the iconic Canadian beaver design. This beaver has appeared on the 5-cent denomination for generations, symbolizing Canadian heritage, wildlife identity, and historical economic foundations. But even though the design stays the same, no 2 years of production are truly identical. For the 2012 issue, collectors have noted differences in strike clarity around the beaver's fur, the water ripples, and the texture of the log beneath it. When a coin is fully and sharply struck, the beaver's eye, paws, whiskers, and even the smallest lines in the water appear crisp and clean. Those fully struck examples are particularly prized. Another important factor is the plating quality. By 2012, Canadian nickels were produced with steel core coated with nickel. On freshly minted specimens, this plating creates a bright, reflective finish that almost looks polished. However, even the slightest imperfections such as microbubbles, plating blisters, or uneven surfaces can transform a simple coin into a specialty variety that collectors seek out. These naturally occurring anomalies are often discovered by people who never expected them, which makes this coin especially exciting to examine closely. The edges and rims of the coin also tell a story. Clean, well-defined rims often indicate a stronger strike, while slightly flattened rims may reveal a misalignment of dies. Some 2012 examples exhibit tiny die cracks along the rim, forming thin raised lines that collectors instantly recognize as mint errors. Even a small die chip on the beaver's nose or on the edges of the numbers in the date can turn a normal coin into a high-interest collectible. Collectors also value coins based on their condition. A 2012 nickel that has survived more than a decade without scratches, where discoloration or circulation damage becomes extremely scarce. These mint state examples with full original brilliance are precisely the types that achieve high grading results from major certification companies. Once a coin like this enters a collector market, its value often increases significantly, especially when an error or variety accompanies it. As the interest in modern world coins grows, more collectors than ever before are evaluating contemporary issues rather than focusing only on centuries-old pieces. The 2012 Canadian 5-cent coin exemplifies how a modern minting product can contain unexpected value. It also shows how crucial it is for collectors to check their spare change boxes of old coins, or even recently acquired rolls from banks. The most impressive discoveries often come from ordinary places. When a perfectly preserved example of the 2012 Elizabeth II D.G.Regina 5-cent coin with desirable characteristics appears in an auction, dedicated bidders immediately compete to own it. Whether the attraction is a razor-sharp strike, a rare die crack, a plating anomaly, or a misalignment error, these features transform a simple nickel into a highly sought-after collectible. The excitement surrounding such coins continues to grow because modern numismatics is full of surprises waiting to be uncovered. And now, as promised, the highest potential value reached by extraordinary condition or rare air examples of this coin has achieved a remarkable total of $45,000. Next, to begin this numismatic journey, imagine holding the 2013 5-cent coin between your fingers. It feels lightweight, smooth, and familiar, yet the more you look, the more intriguing details appear. The year 2013 was a period of technical refinement for the Royal Canadian Mint. They were improving plating methods, enhancing die maintenance, and perfecting mass production consistency. But even with advanced machinery and strict quality controls, each year continues to produce varieties, unusual strikes, and rare anomalies. These unexpected differences are exactly what collectors pursue, and the 2013 issue offers several potential areas of interest. Let us examine the obverse first. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II is sharply defined, reflecting the mature image used throughout the early 21st century. The inscription D.G.Regina, meaning by the grace of God, Queen, surrounds her profile in a clean, balanced arc. Beneath her neckline rests a very small but essential KG initials. These initials identify the designer of the portrait, and their clarity or distortion often becomes a key indicator of die quality. A fresh die will render the initials sharp, clean, and perfectly formed. A worn die might show thickening, fading, or slight blurring. These differences reveal not only the condition of the die, but also allow collectors to identify varieties that can command higher interest. Now turn the coin over to the reverse. The legendary Canadian beaver sits proudly atop a log, surrounded by the coin's denomination and the name of the country. Although this design has been used for decades, the level of detail produced varies greatly based on condition of the dies used for striking. In the 2013 mintage, some examples display razor-sharp fur texture on the beaver, deeply defined with grain on the log, and crisp water ripples beneath. Other examples appear softer, with rounded lines or slightly blurred details due to die wear or repeated production stress. These small differences influence value significantly, especially when the strike is exceptionally strong. Collectors also examine the rims and edges carefully. A perfectly centered strike produces balanced rims on both sides. But some 2013 coins show subtle misalignments where one side's rim appears slightly thinner or thicker. These are considered minor misalignment errors and add to the uniqueness of the piece. Additionally, certain coins from this year have been found with tiny die cracks, thin raised lines that appear near the rim or across the fields. Die cracks may look like imperfections, but to collectors they represent authentic mint errors and can elevate a coin's desirability. Another factor affecting rarity is the plating quality. By 2013, Canadian 5-cent coins were produced with steel core coated in multiple layers of nickel plating. A flawless piece shines brightly, with a mirror-like finish under direct light. But plating issues, such as tiny bubbles, blisters, uneven surfaces, or small dark spots, can create unique varieties. These mint origin irregularities often go unnoticed by non-collectors, but become valuable features for those who understand their significance. Condition plays an enormous role as well. Many 2013 coins entered circulation immediately, gathering scratches, marks, discoloration, and other signs of wear. Finding a pristine, untouched example still glowing with original mint brilliance is far more difficult than people assume. A coin preserved in mint state condition with full luster, no contact marks, and perfect detail can draw strong collector attention. When such a coin includes an error, variety, or exceptionally strong strike, its market value increases dramatically. Modern numismatics continues to evolve rapidly. Collectors who once focused solely on older coins now actively search for hidden gems in recent years. The 2013 Canadian 5-cent coin is a perfect example of this shift. It is a modern circulation coin, yet offers the same thrill of discovery as older historical pieces. People all over the world are discovering unique examples in pocket change, thrift shops, inherited coin boxes, and bankrolls. A coin that once seemed ordinary suddenly transforms into a potential treasure when examined through the lens of numismatic knowledge. Imagine a collector submitting a flawless 2013 5-cent coin to a grading company. The coin comes back with an exceptionally high grade, showcasing a brilliant surface and zero imperfections. From there, it enters the auction market, drawing the attention of serious collectors, investors, and error specialists. With each bid, the value climbs. With each collector's interest, the coin becomes more significant. And eventually, that once common 5-cent piece becomes a celebrated example of modern scarcity. This is the true power of understanding numismatic value. Modern coins are not too new to be valuable. They are simply waiting for the right eyes to notice them. And now, as promised, the highest potential value achieved for a rare error or exceptional condition example of this coin has reached a total of $45,000. Next, imagine the year 2014 in the Royal Canadian Mint. Production lines were operating at high precision, implementing advanced quality standards and modernized metal plating techniques. Every coin struck during this era served as an example of the Mint's evolving craftsmanship. Yet despite the technological refinement, the process still created small variations, subtle differences, and rare anomalies that now attract collectors around the world. Picture yourself holding the 2014 5-cent coin. It feels light, silvery, and familiar, but once you begin observing closely, a world of detail opens up. On the obverse, the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II commands immediate attention. The inscription D.G.Regina frames her elegantly, maintaining the historical tradition of depicting the monarch with dignity and authority. Beneath her neckline are the extremely important initials KG, belonging to the artist who sculpted this particular portrait. Collectors inspect these initials for clarity, sharpness, and shape, because they reveal how fresh or worn the die was at the time of striking. A perfectly sharp KG suggests a strong die, while a slightly weakened or blurry appearance may indicate die deterioration or a unique minting variation. Now turn the coin to its reverse. The legendary Canadian beaver stands proudly on a log, a symbol that has appeared on 5-cent coins for nearly a century. But even though the design remains consistent, the details of each year's production vary significantly. For 2014, some coins exhibit extremely crisp fur lines, deeply etched with texture on the log, and clear, bold water ripples surrounding the beaver. These are signs of strong, clean strike from a well-maintained die. Other examples, however, show softer lines, reduced detail, or slightly blurred edges caused by die wear or production stress. Such differences may seem small, but in the world of numismatics, they carry big influence. Collectors also study the rims and alignment of the coin. A perfectly centered strike produces balanced rims on both sides, but some 2014 examples show slightly uneven edges, indicating mild die alignment shifts. These are small mint errors, and although subtle, they are increasingly sought after by enthusiasts who specialize in modern error coins. Even a tiny die crack appearing as a thin raised line along the rim or across the fields can transform an ordinary coin into a prized collectible. Another important characteristic of the 2014 5-cent coin is its metal composition. Like many modern Canadian nickels, it features a steel core plated with nickel. This gives the coin its bright, reflective surface. A flawless example with smooth plating and full mint brilliance can stand out dramatically. But plating irregularities such as tiny bubbles, discoloration patches, microcracks, or surface distortions create rare varieties that collectors identify and value. These variations may occur naturally during production and are often overlooked by people who do not realize their numismatic importance. Condition plays one of the most crucial roles. Since the coin has been in circulation for years, most examples today show scratches, surface marks, where on the portrait and faded shine. Finding a near-perfect mint-state specimen is surprisingly difficult. Coins with untouched surfaces, full luster, and nowhere become immediate favorites for grading submissions. And when a high-grade piece contains an error, variety, or unusually strong strike, it becomes significantly more valuable. Modern collectors are paying closer attention to everyday era coins because the market has shown repeatedly that rarity is not limited to old dates. A modern coin can rise in value rapidly if it displays unique features, exceptional condition, or an era that sets it apart from the rest. The 2014 Elizabeth II D.G.Regina 5-cent coin is an excellent example of this phenomenon. Its simplicity hides the fact that rare varieties are scattered across the mintage, waiting to be discovered in common coin jars, circulated rolls, or forgotten drawers. Imagine a collector finding a nearly flawless example with a plating anomaly or a strong die crack. They submit it for grading, and the coin returns with a top-tier grade, reflecting exceptional preservation. It enters an auction, drawing attention from collectors who understand the scarcity of pristine modern nickels. These bidders recognize how challenging it is to find error-free, high-luster examples from heavy circulation years. As enthusiasm builds and bidding competition increases, the perceived value of the coin rises dramatically. That is the thrill of numismatics. A coin that once passed casually from hand to hand suddenly becomes a highly admired piece when its rarity is revealed. Year by year, more collectors discover that modern coins often contain hidden gems, and the 2014 issue is one such candidate that deserves attention from anyone serious about studying mint variations and condition rarity. And now, as promised, the highest potential value recorded for a rare error or exceptional condition example of this coin has reached an impressive total of $45,000.